Streaking across the field, Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown had his eyes fixed on the Brown football spiraling towards him. The ball was almost in his grasp when everything went dark. His eyes rolled back in his head, and his arms shot out in front of him as he hit the turf. This incident has been happening repeatedly for over 60 years in the National Football League. Concussions have been injuring players since football came into existence. Concussions are experienced at every level of the sport, from Pop Warner to high school to college to the professional level. Lately, more research has gone into preventing these injuries. I believe that there is still more to be done to combat these instances from happening, saving careers of football players across the country. Today, I will discuss the definition of concussions, statistics, current protocol, and better prevention of concussions in football. I hope to change your opinion on how these injuries are handled and how the NFL needs to do a better job in protecting their players. To get a baseline for our silent killers, I will first discuss what occurs during a concussion and how the body responds. Let's begin with the basic definition as well as the continuation of concussion-related injuries. Dr. David Meenan of Cambridge University defines a concussion as a mild traumatic brain injury that occurs after a blow to the head. Many football concussions occur with a helmet-to-helmet contact at high speeds. Meenan goes on to explain, during an impact, the brain is pushed against the inside of the skull and can be bruised. Most football concussions have been reported to occur without losing consciousness. Therefore, there is not a known injury that can occur. When players experience multiple concussions over time, chronic traumatic encephalopathy occurs, also known as CTE. CTE is a degenerative disease of the brain and is associated with repeated head traumas like concussions. This is a deadly disease that has killed people in the past, many of them football players. An injury that involves a bruising of the brain seems harrowing. Imagine it happening to one of your own children, as it is most likely. Statistics show that high school players have a higher percentage of concussion. High school football accounts for 47% of all reported sports concussions, with 33% of those concussions occurring during practice. That is almost half of all sports, including wrestling, ice hockey, and soccer. 16 and 17-year-old males are getting their brains bruised left and right, all in the name of the sport. Concussions on the professional level occurred 202 times during preseason and regular season practices, along with games in 2014. That's down from a number of nearly 230 in 2012. I explained to you how concussions occur, as well as the frequency of their occurrence. Let's take a look at the treatment and supervision of these injuries on the professional level. Liz Clark, a sports writer for the Washington Post, outlined the NFL concussion protocol. The concussion protocol is placed on players who have been diagnosed with a concussion and are under such protocol until cleared. The NFL protocol has 5 steps: rest and recovery, light aerobic exercise, introduction of strength training, football-specific work, and full football activity, which is putting on pads and doing a full football practice before a game. Once performance of all these steps take place, a player may be cleared by team doctors to play. This can take as long as possible. Players like to do this within a week so they don't miss any playing time and can play in each week's game. After taking in all the present information about concussion injuries, I believe not enough is being done to prevent these injuries from happening. I consider myself a huge sports fan. I've loved football from a very young age. It's a passion. However, no sport or championship is worth damaging one's brain. My largest concern with the current concussion protocols is how short a turnaround time players have to recover and get back onto the field. 16-year-old brains are still developing and need more than a week to recover only to have the chance of being injured again. Another concern is the amount of protection offered by football officials. Incidental contact occurs. This is a common danger of football. However, some players have taken to targeting other players with vicious hits that can cause concussions. Punishment on the professional level can result in a monetary fine. The National Football League has taken action by suspending players for hits. I believe that some players should be banned from the league, depending on the ferocity of the collision. People in ordinary jobs are relieved of duty when illegal activity is committed. Why are professional athletes held to such a different standard? I encourage you all to join me in calling for the NFL to lead the way for all the levels of football by implementing policies that truly protect players from imposing hits by longer concussion recovery time, higher fines, and longer suspensions that may lead to a ban from football. This isn't a game that's at stake anymore. These are people's lives. However the high brass in football treat this delicate subject, we must always remember that the players and their brains are the most valuable item, not the game itself. Today, I've informed you of the definition of concussions, statistics, current protocol, and better prevention of the concussions in football. I hope this speech has opened your eyes to the seriousness of concussions, and while watching the big game, you too may fear for players like Antonio Brown as they hit the turf with yet another traumatic brain injury.